It's officially been 1 year since I took my Shahada, and I feel like this would be a good time to share my story. I know a lot of y'all have been curious, and I appreciate your patience. I just wanted to get my thoughts together and make sure I'm doing justice to what I'm going to share. One of the reasons I didn't know how to talk about this was because now looking back, I see that I had been guided for a long time and even longer than I realized, because I thought it was a 2 to 3 year process that I've been on. But looking back, I see now in hindsight that there were signs and guidance maybe 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I had this kind of vision and I was veiled in it. At that time, that made zero sense to me, so I just shrugged it off. For context, I was born in Sri Lanka, and my family is Buddhist, and we are Sinhalese Sri Lankans, and we generally tend to be Buddhists. After moving to the States, we did spend a lot of time at the temple. So Sunday school, that's where a lot of the Sri Lankan Sinhalese community would gather. So not only was it a place to study Buddhism, but it was also a place for Sri Lankans to gather and be in community. I never felt that Buddhism didn't fit me or that it didn't align with my values at that time. How I see it is that Buddhism was the foundation that allowed me to go on this journey and allow me to be open-minded, and it allowed me to ask the questions. And I do feel grateful that I have those foundations to allow me to be guided, if that makes sense. So fast forward, I'm in college. I'm not attending the temple as much, but I become more spiritual and, of course, start believing that there is a higher power. Like, I guess at the time I would call it the universe. And that was different from my Buddhist upbringing, because in Buddhism, we don't have a living source. We don't have a spiritual text. I know someone's going to disagree with that. I didn't grow up with a spiritual text, is what I will say. I did have many moments where I would have signs from what I would call the universe at that time. It was consistent enough for me to be pretty certain that there's something bigger than what I understand. I'm going to fast forward quite a bit because there's a lot that happened within the last 10 years, and I want to try and keep this as brief and concise as possible. And so I will fast forward to a couple years after college. I started a business, and I think starting my business forced me to become more disciplined. And during this time, I realized that I cannot engage in social settings in the same way because I worked weekends. I couldn't drink and go out in the way that my peers were doing so because, and not to air anything, but I want to share my true experience just so that others that are on this path can also relate. Okay, just logistically, I couldn't be hungover. I didn't have money to spend on alcohol. I did notice this cyclical pattern of people going out, working, going out, drinking, going out as many nights as possible. And I saw that happening quite frequently and for other people. And I realized, like, oh, these patterns people are in, it's like people are just trying to numb their reality and what I know now as the dunya, right? Which makes total sense. That was just one component. And then there were other things that didn't quite make sense. Like, I was starting to be more interested in modest wear, which out of the blue, okay, it just kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't think much about it. I just thought, okay, my style is changing a little bit. There were like conversations I just didn't want to engage in, and just again, lifestyles I didn't want to co-sign on. Okay. And I just felt like this didn't fit my values. Again, I didn't know it was Islam, but I just knew what aligned with me and what didn't align with me.
My beloved brothers and sisters, this sister reverted to Islam from Buddhism due to the Islamic values. Islam teaches us to show kindness and respect to all people, whether they are Muslim or not. Being nice to non-Muslims is part of good character and reflects the mercy and compassion that Islam stands for. A smile, a kind word, or helping hand can leave a lasting impression and show the beauty of our faith without even asking. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was known for his excellent character, even with those who opposed him. His honesty, patience, and fairness won the hearts of many people and led them to embrace Islam. Following his example, we should treat non-Muslims with justice, kindness, and respect so they can see the true teachings of Islam in our actions. Sometimes non-Muslims may not know much about Islam or may have misunderstandings. When they see Muslims with good manners, honesty, and compassion, they may become curious and start learning about the religion. Our behavior can be a form of dawah, and often actions speak louder than words. By being good to others, we are also pleasing Allah because He loves those who have the best character. Even if someone does not accept Islam, your kindness can still soften their heart and build peace between people. Remember, your conduct is a reflection of your iman, and it may be the reason someone is guided to the truth.